So let's bring in Isaac Wright, former executive director of Correct the Record, a pro-Clinton super PAC in the 2016 election, and Jon Hart, former communications director for Senator Tom Coburn. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
So, John, I'll start with you. The president met with senators for lunch this afternoon, and he's hopeful about moving forward with this plan and getting some details from the Senate. How hopeful are you?
Well, I'm very hopeful. I think what the Senate GOP is going to do is reset the debate. Look, the country knows that Republicans don't like Obamacare. The president did a good job of walking through why the plan has failed. And we have to define what we're for as Republicans. And the truth is Republicans have had plans for 8 years. Tom Coburn worked on one with Paul Ryan. The House has put forward a plan, obviously. But Republicans have to define what we're for. And what we're for is that we want everyone to have great health care. But the government can't be in charge. You, the individual, should be in charge. And by moving towards a patient-centered system, we'll be able to provide care for everybody in a way that's much more efficient than having the government have a top-down micromanaging approach from Washington.
Well, John, since you mentioned it, let's take a listen as to what the president had to say about what went wrong with Obamacare. And then, Isaac, I'll let you respond to it.
As soon as we can do it. As soon as we can do it. Obamacare has been broken, and it's been a broken promise. One after another, Americans were told that if you liked your doctor, you'll keep your doctor. That was a lie. They were told that if you liked your plan, you'd keep your plan. That was a lie. Americans were told the premiums would go down by $2,500 per year. And instead, their premiums went up to levels that nobody thought even possible. The House has passed a bill, and now the Senate is working very, very hard, and specifically the folks in this room, and I really appreciate what you're doing, to come out with a bill that's going to be a phenomenal bill for the people of our country.
And the first part of that sound there, he was answering, how soon do you think that will happen? And he said as quickly as possible. So, Isaac, what do you think about that? I mean, some of the premiums that he talked about, I was really shocked. Alaska, the premiums have risen 203%. So how do you answer that?
I think it's so scary that President Trump has proposed a plan, that the House has passed a bill, that the Senate is now working in secret to try to further a bill that's going to drive premiums up even further. 85% of Americans covered under Obamacare receive tax credits that offset those insurance premiums. So people are paying less for their health care, even if the premium's going up. And TrumpCare passed through the House, that's now supported in the Senate by Republicans, at least from what we can tell since they're negotiating in secret, also does away with those premiums.
But why have 2 million people dropped out? Those are the latest numbers in terms of Obamacare.
Because in the last few weeks, the CEOs of so many insurance companies are pulling out and raising these premiums because they say they are unsure and uncertain of the future of health care because of Trump's decision and the Trump administration in this Republican legislation. That's been openly commented on by healthcare CEOs. It is essentially a sabotage of the system that President Obama set up that was passed with public scrutiny to reform healthcare. We should be looking at how we work under the hood to tweak Obamacare and make it better. That's what Democrats have proposed. How to improve the healthcare exchanges and improve those marketplaces instead of doing away with it, taking insurance away from 23 million Americans and increasing premiums for seniors and working people, putting lifetime caps on health care through Medicaid.
Let me let John jump in here and answer some of that, because there has been critique that there haven't been open and public discussions about what's being done behind the scenes.
Well, okay, three quick points. Number one is Obamacare was in a death spiral before the election. That's why Hillary Clinton lost.
Not true.
It had nothing to do with the Russians. It was because premiums were going up 25%. So her support with their base declined significantly because of that. In terms of costs and premiums, the president was right. Obama said, if you're a family, your costs will go down $2,500. Instead, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation, costs went up over $4,300. So that's a $6,800 swing. That's enough to buy a second car, to cover a mortgage for a lower middle-income family. And then third, if Democrats have a plan, show us what your plan is. Partisanship is not a plan. Where's Bernie
And the
Sanders'
president-
money?
We have
the
a plan.
president didn't
We
mention
passed
that,
it.
Isaac.
Where's the CBO
We have a
score for
plan.
Bernie
We
Sanders'
passed it. We have a plan.
And it's failing.
We
That's
passed
why-
it under
that's
last
why
administration.
Republicans
That's
are
not
gonna-
true.
are
And that's the
gonna fix
thing. John's repeating a Republican talking point that he knows good and well has been debunked
It's not-
over
it's
and
not a
over and
talking
again.
point.
Literally,
Well,
the
there are
Associated
Democrats
Press
saying
had a
that
headline that said, a month ago, that said Obamacare was not in a death spiral.
There
This
are
has been
Democrats that
widely,
say it
widely
needs to be
debunked
worked on
by
and it
every
needs to be
bipartisan
improved on.
foundation that has looked into it. It's just not true. The problems that have come up in the last few weeks have been openly admitted that CEOs of these health insurance companies are saying, yes, in the last few weeks, they're hiking these things. They're pulling out of exchanges
Okay.
That
because
was
of the
happening
uncertainty
before.
of
That
Trump
was
and the
happening
Republican
before.
Congress.
And
Let's
we
just be
have to
honest with the
wrap it up.
viewers.
Yes, let's be honest that coming up, hopefully we'll hear a plan that is coming out of the House or out of the Senate, and moving forward, it'll be a good plan for Americans. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.